You're on the road beyond. Welcome. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we are coming to you from the HCC TV studios this afternoon. And we've got a lot going on this week.
Yeah, we are really going.
We're going
beyond,
way to beyond,
way beyond,
way beyond.
How's it going? I'm Doug O'Brien. Make sure you like, follow, and share. You can find us on all the social media sites at the Road Beyond Podcast.
So,
how do you start explaining today's show? Really,
all I can tell you is buckle up because we've got some great stories going your way. Some of them you're going to be scratching your head, but let's just say all of them you will. But let's dive right into it. We begin today by delving into time travel. Well, not literally, but rather through a lens.
Yeah, this is a bizarre story. We're diving into one of the most bizarre and controversial conspiracy theories that the Vatican has ever been tied to. It's called the Chronovisor. If it's real, and this is the key, if it's real, it could change how we view time, history, and religion itself.
Now, the Chronovisor is said to be a hidden device tucked away deep inside the Vatican, a kind of time viewer, not a time machine, rather, but a screen that allows you to see events from the past.
The story begins with a man named Father Pellegrino Ernetti. He's a Benedictine monk and a respected musicologist. In the 60s, he claimed he helped build a device that could witness historical moments. Think about that. Witness historical moments from the past. For example, the Crucifixion of Christ to ancient Roman speeches, all captured like security camera footage of the past.
Now, Father Ernetti said the machine was built with the help of top scientists, including Nobel laureate Enrico Fermi and Werner von Braun, the father of rocket science. That alone sounds like science fiction royalty.
The machine, according to Ernetti, was a combination of electromagnetic antennas, cathode ray tubes, and exotic materials that could somehow tune in to residual energy of past events, sort of like picking up radio signals from history.
Now, he even claimed they used it to witness a lost play by Roman playwright Quentin Ennis. And this is the big one, the Crucifixion of Jesus.
Okay, but that's not the weirdest.
Yeah.
It gets even weirder.
Yeah.
Yes, in 1972, an Italian magazine published what it claimed was a photograph from the Chronovisor, supposedly showing Jesus on the cross.
Experts later debunked the photo, saying it matched a well-known sculpture from a church in Italy. That led to many calling Ernetti a fraud. But here's the twist, as if this gets even weirder.
Just before his death in 1994, Father Ernetti reportedly recanted everything, saying that he made it up, but some who were close to him say he was pressured by the church to keep it quiet.
But here's where the story in the conspiracy deepens. Some believe the Vatican confiscated the Chronovisor and locked it away in its infamous secret archives, claiming that a device like this could shake the very foundation of modern religion, science, and even world governments.
The Vatican has never confirmed or denied the Chronovisor's existence, but in 1988, the church released an oddly specific statement that, quote, any such device, if it exists, is strictly forbidden, end quote. So they didn't say yes or no.
No. So let's get this right. We've got a mysterious machine, a secretive church, and a warning from history. All the ingredients for a great mystery. What could go wrong? But is it real, or is it just the elaborate imagination of a priest trying to connect science and faith? Many may call this a new segment we're talking about in the show called Fact or Fiction. That's right, fact or fiction.
Some say the Chronovisor never existed, and as a matter of fact, I believe those in the world of science say that it's not even possible because energy erodes, but others believe it's been hidden to prevent humanity from witnessing the unfiltered truth of the past and possibly our future.
Well, we'll let you be the judge, but we'll say this. The idea of a machine that lets you see time is a concept that's fascinated not just priests and physicists, but also science fiction fans like myself, and I'm sure you as well, for decades.
Think about this. In a world of quantum computing, AI, and deep fakes, maybe the real question isn't, did the Chronovisor exist, but rather could something like it exist today?
Mind blown, right? Try to wrap your mind around that.
So what do you think? I mean, Vatican tech cover-up or a clever hoax? Hit us up in the comments. Let us know your thoughts.
I don't know. I mean, I think, does the Vatican hide things?
Well,
absolutely.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got things in their archives that we just aren't meant to see. And there's probably some pretty cool stuff. Whether or not we have a television that you could dial in world events, I don't know. Jury's out on that one.
Well, look, we've had some parts of our government do the experiments where they I forgot what it was called, but where they could go back in time. Do you remember the memory where they would see events of the past?
Yeah, you're talking about remote viewing.
Yes, remote viewing, exactly. So we have some doing that. We have scientists saying that no, the energy dissipates. It's not still there to tune in. But if you believe in the paranormal, we talk about residual energy all the time. So it's whether you believe in residual energy or not, really.
If you're a watcher of the show, you've heard these theories before, and you're going to hear them again as we update you on just some crazy stuff. We've got another story for you. What happens when an orb transforms into a shapeshifter? You ever seen that one?
Well, I think we all know.
Okay. Here's guy walks into a desert and, well, take a look at this video right here. This is an orb, and this is somewhere in Mexico, I believe. You sent this video to me.
If you actually watched, so this little orb, it manifests into a person, but before it actually does, you can see it try to manifest into someone right there.
Yep.
Right? But before that, it actually did it again, and you see it later when it's going back out. And it looks like two people almost.
Yeah, it does.
It is a very bizarre clip when I saw this. So when it's forming, like right when it's moving across, right there, it tried to manifest, and then it did it again.
Well, this goes back to, once again, where do you think it's going to go back to? The Miami Mall incident with the aliens transporting themselves here, stepping out of what appeared to be some time hole or other dimension.
Well, look. We are all energy.
Yeah.
Right? We're energy. This desk is energy. Everything is basically energy. So the idea that something or another species or being would be able to teleport or come into our dimension and do this, I mean, it's really not that far-fetched, but it's crazy to see it on camera.
It's not far-fetched, and it's not the first time we've shown this. We showed it a few weeks ago with the similar images of the aliens transforming or appearing at that Miami Mall. That was back on January 1st. Of 2024, made national news. They said it was a bunch of kids fighting with sticks. Nothing to see here.
That one is still bizarre. I don't think we've heard the last of that. But what I find strange is how come we don't have more footage of this? It's happening more.
Yeah. And maybe we're going to see more. Maybe we're starting to see more of them. That's why you're seeing them on the show.
I've also heard that we are being prepared for a galactic event. I've brought this up before, but they say it's happening more and more so that when the galactic event happens, that we're not shocked.
Project Bluebeam. Google it, read up on it, but it talks about something very similar with the government telling you one thing and something else happening just to hide what's really going on. That would never happen in real life.
Our government could never do that. But I'm more concerned about the other side. What if, let's just for a moment say this is going to happen, that there are an alien species. What can they do? This was, it's been in several movies.
To us, a lot.
Right. How would it be any different than us, squashing an anthill? I heard that reference used in a movie. So if they're coming for peaceful means, then great. Do we have some connection to them? Which I believe we're going to discuss in the next segment.
That's right. We've got, could we have a connection to aliens? Could aliens be us? Could we be the aliens from somewhere else? We've got a story talking about Mars, the CIA, and a conspiracy theory. Imagine that. We'll be back after this.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I came back to grow my skills, even after I graduated.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go listen?
Welcome back to the Road Beyond podcast. Make sure you like, follow, and share. We're on all the social media sites at the Road Beyond podcast.
Now, this is a show where mystery meets mayhem, and quite honestly, a lot of times the truth is classified.
Today's story really has everything in it. Pyramids, psychic spies, you heard me right, psychic spies, Martian giants, government secrets, and at least one guy in a skin-tight spacesuit. But real quick, why is the future always depicted as a guy in a skin-tight, like silver?
That's the best they could do in the 40s and 50s.
And we're not talking about the recent Kamapalooza. It's a great story here.
Now, this is the real deal. In 1984, a man sat in a sealed black box. He was handed coordinates. He didn't know where they led.
He described something unbelievable. Mars, 1 million years BC.
That man was Joseph McMoneagle, a military intelligence officer and trained remote viewer, basically a psychic spy funded by the Department of Defense.
And for the record, this wasn't some patchouli-scented crystal meditation. This was part of Project Stargate, an actual U.S. government program run under the Defense Intelligence Agency.
Now, Joe was given sealed coordinates from someone inside of NASA. He had no idea they weren't on Earth, but what he described, let's just say, Mars wasn't as empty as we may have thought.
If you remember, I actually mentioned something about this last week.
You did.
He started seeing massive pyramids, megalithic structures buried in red dust, strange roadways, aqueduct systems, even hibernation chambers filled with beings in stasis, like a Martian version of a cryo-nap central.
And towering over it all, beings 10 to 12 feet tall, thin, ancient humanoid, rocking those tight suits like they were going to a Martian fashion week. Not exactly like the one we may be picturing, but we can only hope.
Here's the only deal.
There's your Martian.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, not that one.
Here's the deal. The vibe, though, was not good. There was trauma. There was desperation. One of the beings, according to Joe, said, quote, "We are dying. Our time has passed. We sent a group to find a new home. We're waiting to be rescued," end quote.
They built their home after an impact crater. That means they either survived a planet-ending event or rebuilt from its ashes. That's either guts or serious planetary insurance.
He described a pyramid so large that it could hold 3 of the Giza pyramids inside it. And one structure was built into a crater wall, like Todd said, which would be impossible if the crater came later. In construction terms, it would be like building your house before the sinkhole as opposed to in the hole afterwards.
Well, later he visits JPL in California, shows them the coordinates. The archivist takes one look and says, "Oh, that's the old city on Mars, silly." Then just hands him the file like yesterday's lunch order.
Yeah. I hope people heard what you said. The old city on Mars. Yeah. That's a casual way to drop humanity's biggest bombshell.
Joe also reported seeing intersecting roadways, geysers, and what he called shelters for surviving savage storms, basically Martian FEMA zones. At one point, he even described seeing what looked like bones left behind in the rubble.
Just real quick, if you look at the pictures, right angles, that is the real key, because right angles typically don't occur naturally.
Yeah, now if you're wondering where we got these pictures, I was able to get a number of these from NASA's website. These are out there in public realm. You can find them by Googling them.
And there's more to this. While stationed in the Bahamas, McMoneagle and a colleague were engulfed in a beam of light from a rotating disc. The equipment got fried, and his friend, well, he was hospitalized with radiation burns.
The story just keeps getting crazier. So yeah, remote viewing and real world weirdness. Coincidence or cosmic coincidence? Coincidence. Coincidence.
consequences, I think is the word you're going for there.
I'm
That's
really
right.
lost here.
Now, here's where you may get goosebumps because this is crazy. What McMoneagle described lines up eerily with known Martian anomalies.
Yep.
We're talking about the Sidonia pyramids, the infamous face, right? The grid channels, geysers, even collapsed caverns visible in NASA's own satellite imagery. You see them right there. That's the face in the upper right of the screen.
And this just isn't random stuff that we've gotten from Googling on the internet. It's documented in CIA archives. We're talking declassified psychic spy sessions that mapped out the past of another planet. You can even read the original Stargate file online. You can Google it. Very easy to find.
And here's the kicker. Joe's biggest takeaway, and I'm quoting here because I want to be clear, Martians are us. We are the descendants of those who never went back.
Now think about that and read it again. If he's right, we're not just looking at alien ruins, we're looking at our own ancestral ones.
Yes, Mars isn't just some dusty red rock, right? It could be our original address, right? Forwarded to Earth after an apocalyptic moving day.
So if Martian ruins aren't alien, they're a family secret. One buried in dust, classified folders, and psychic vision laws.
From pyramids to portals, radiation beams to NASA shrugs, the deeper you dig, the stranger this all gets. And who knows, maybe your great-great-great-granduncle actually really did help build that 20,000-meter pyramid. This has been told, too, by many different people. It's not just one little outlying conspiracy.
No, this has made the rounds. But if you think about it, there's been talk that something happened on Mars.
Yes.
There appears to be, and a number of geologists have looked at this, as the rovers are going across Mars, getting those shots. It looks like an apocalyptic event.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a terrain of somewhere where nuclear explosions happen.
Well, not just that, but they have found quote unquote life, water molecules and others. So there was more happening with Mars before it became the Mars that we know.
Yeah. I mean, there's
here on Earth.
And there's also concern that there are things underneath the ground.
Yes.
Things that aren't making themselves known. Could this be why Musk is looking to get to Mars as quickly as possible? I mean, there could be a lot of riches that are there as well that people could harvest.
Well, let's bring capitalism into it.
Hey, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, capitalism solves everything.
Right? Or get richer. You know?
But just imagine what is underneath. If we could dig, if we could really excavate some of these sites, especially
we could find our own origin.
Right, those spots with the right angles, those pyramids. Why are they there? What were they before? Again, what is underneath?
Right.
Are we going to see, a civilization that was there, whether it was us or a different civilization? It's not completely outrageous idea.
Wouldn't it be strange, though, is if we blew up Mars, we had to get away from there, so we come to Earth. Now we're on Earth. Nobody's getting along. We're going to go back to Mars.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
That's why we can't have nice things. Totally unrelated, but let's take you to the moon. Take a look at this video and then let me know what you think. This is a video that actually catches what some believe is a craft flying from the moon. Okay. Believe this was something that came from a NASA film, but take a look at this. You're going to see something fly out of there.
Right there?
There you go.
Did it come out of that crater?
It did. Came out of a crater. Craft flying from the moon. That's what it's titled. Look for it on X. You can find this video there. Not much more is known about it, though.
It looked pretty legit because it had a shadow.
Yeah. And
it's hard to fake that kind of grainy footage.
Oh, it's easy to fake that stuff.
You think that's easy to fake?
Yeah, it's easy to fake stuff like that now. But still an interesting piece of video, and that's kind of what we do here. So far we've covered our beings on Mars.
Right.
We talked about a device that the Vatican could be hiding, that you could find things back in the past. What do we have coming up next?
We're going to really get serious with bare necessities.
Right. We'll be back after this.
I'm not just studying AI, I'm designing solutions to make the world a better place for us all.
I didn't just study buildings, I connected them with tech to make them smarter.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
Kids will be kids, which just goes to say kids will be curious. They get into everything, everything. If there's a loaded firearm in the house, they could get their hands on that too. Keeping firearms locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition in a place inaccessible to kids can help keep your loved ones safe from family fire. Safe gun storage saves lives.
Welcome back to the Road Beyond podcast.
It is time for bare necessities. Now, let me say, you believed a few weeks ago about a dog driving a car.
Absolutely.
But you did not believe the dog mowing the grass or
Not at
doing
all.
laundry.
No.
What about our first dog today?
This is totally pliable. I've had a husky for a short amount of time, and they are some wild dogs. But did you know what dogs do when you leave the house? Take a look. Apparently, they're not too hip on what you may leave on television. As this husky, the human leaves, husky goes and promptly changes the channel.
Actually, what I like more is he hears, it's like he's caught.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the owner to see like, oh, we know how to do more.
Exactly. He's hiding this.
They're going to want us to actually.
Next thing you know, we're going to be driving. They're going to want us to drive them everywhere.
Right. So they're watching.
They'll believe we need to harness.
They're watching us during the day, right? And then the owner comes home like, oh, wait, we got to go back to being dogs.
And that's kind of the way things happen, especially at my house. I wonder what my dogs do.
I believe this is just leading up to that famous painting of dogs playing poker.
That's where it's going next. That's smoking, drinking, and playing poker.
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago, you were talking about an island that was isolated from the rest of the world with the creatures on the island. It was the Galapagos Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, you can't introduce new. Anyway, the seals they're at a whole different level. Take a look at this one, because apparently there are some resorts in the Galapagos where people visit, and then you might be paid to visit by a seal who enjoys to go for a nice swim in the
Everybody needs a vacation, including wildlife. So when you have a nice pool, you take a nice little dip in the pool, and then what do you do after you get out of the pool?
I don't know, he swims the whole lap in this pool.
Well, you know.
Yeah, and then he's going to casually just jump on out and then jump into a chair where someone's currently sitting.
I just love this guy's reaction. His reaction is basically,
nope, not having any of this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do I have your seat?
Yeah.
I'll move over.
I would too. You know, those things pack a nasty bite.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too comfy with the seal.
But I just love how the seal climbs up on the
I get the feeling he does this every morning.
Yeah,
it's probably his morning routine.
Lays out.
It's my chair there, buddy. You can leave the towel and move on.
He totally relaxes on that beach chair and just takes it easy. So that is one of my favorites because it's just so natural.
We're going to show you a couple of videos with monkeys. The first one, not AI. And for some reason, people just have a thing for messing with monkeys. Why? Why do you do it? Take a look at this one. This is someone who decides for some crazy reason to pinch the back of a monkey. And you'll see what happens. The monkey's not too keen on getting his tail messed with. There you go. And monkey runs away and then goes back and say, why would you do this?
So really, there's a person out there that thinks pinching monkey butt is intelligent.
Thing to do.
That's a smart thing to do.
This one, I don't buy this one. Monkeys serving food. You be the judge and let us know in the comments what's your take on this one. You actually thought it was totally plausible last week, the monkey serving food.
Well, yeah. Now this one, not so much. Yeah. This one takes a little more dexterity and thought process. I mean, I know some adults that can't do this, so I'm not sure that a monkey is going to do it. But last week, yes. This week, not so much. And he's way too skilled.
I don't know. Yeah, this monkey's got he's got some skills. AI or not, let us know in the comments what you think about that. We're almost out of time.
By the way, if you ever have videos like that, you can always send it to us. Also like and share us. Our podcast is on all the social media sites at the Road Beyond Podcast.
That's right. Next week, we'll be back with a whole lot more and maybe some more AI monkeys. Who knows about that?
You were like on this monkey kick lately.
Yeah, we've been finding a lot of, well, once you get it in your algorithm, that's right. Who you are. It's true. Who you are now, you know?
Well, we're 98% connected to them.
Connected to monkeys. So have a great week, folks. We'll be back next week with
What? Oh, the Road Beyond podcast. I was trying to figure out where you're going.
Joe, I'm Todd Duplantis.
He's going to get a monkey to sidekick with it now.